Eleanor hadn't planned to cry that evening. She'd made her tea. She'd settled into her porch chair. She told herself it would be an ordinary Tuesday, the kind where nothing much happens. And that's perfectly fine. But then she saw it, tucked between the basil and the rosemary. A single persimmon had fallen from the tree. It lay there in the dirt, bright orange, perfectly ripe, going to waste. And just like that, she was furious, not at the fruit, at herself, because Thomas would have seen it yesterday. He always saw things like that. He would have picked it up, brushed it off, brought it inside, probably with a silly comment about rescuing the orphan. But Thomas had been gone for 3 years now, and Eleanor had walked past that persimmon a dozen times without noticing. What else am I not seeing anymore? The thought arrived quiet and sharp, like a splinter. She set down her teacup harder than she meant to. The china clinked on the wooden table. "All right," she said. "All right, I hear you." She didn't know who she was talking to. The garden, maybe. God, maybe. Or some stubborn part of herself that refused to fade. Eleanor stood up. Her knees protested. She steadied herself on the railing. She took a breath. She stepped into the garden. She had no idea this evening would be different. But it was about to be. The garden wasn't much to look at anymore. It had been lovely once. She and Thomas spent weekends out here, arguing cheerfully about tomatoes, about marigolds, about mint taking over everything. Now the rows were crooked. Weeds had moved in. A few roses still bloomed. But mostly, the garden looked surrendered. Eleanor didn't mind. Perfection was overrated. The garden had earned the right to grow wild. She bent down slowly. She picked up the fallen persimmon. It was heavier than she expected. Warm from the sun. Thomas would have made a pie with it. She smiled. She slipped it into her cardigan pocket. Then she noticed the stones, scattered all along the path. Flat ones, round ones, some with moss. They had collected them for years, bringing them home like postcards. Her hand reached for one stone, the pale gray one, shaped like a teardrop. "Oh, I remember you." It had been a Saturday in October. 30 years ago. They'd gone hiking, meant to take the easy trail, but they missed a turn. They walked an hour before realizing they were lost. Eleanor had been annoyed. She brought the map. Thomas said they didn't need it. Men and their pride. But then the annoyance shifted. They came upon a clearing, a meadow of late wildflowers, gold and purple, afternoon light slanting across it. Not another soul around. Thomas grinned. "Well, I guess we live here now." She laughed so hard she snorted. He laughed because she snorted. Two fools in the middle of nowhere, holding hands, laughing until their sides hurt. On the way back, Thomas found this stone, turned it over in his palm, handed it to her. "For getting lost with you," he said. She kept it. Now, holding it again, her throat tightened. "How did I forget this?" She turned the stone slowly. Its familiar weight comforted her. She'd been so focused on missing him that she'd forgotten the moments. The laughter, the lightness, the small adventures. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I forgot how to look." The garden didn't answer, but the breeze moved gently, as if saying, "It's all right. You're here now." Eleanor walked further down the path, her slippers quiet on the stones. Thomas's lantern still hung from the branches. Little glass jars, wire handles. She hadn't lit them in months. Tonight she stopped. She found the old lighter. She coaxed a small flame. One jar lit up, then another. The garden began to glow. Not dramatic, not grand, but enough. The small lights pushed back the shadows, made the path feel possible. She lit them slowly, flame after flame. Something tight inside her chest loosened. When did I stop doing this? She knew why. It hurt too much. Lighting lanterns alone felt like performing for an empty theater. But now she realized something. The lanterns weren't for Thomas. They were for her. For them. For the life she still lived. At the end of the path was the old bench. Beneath the persimmon tree, she sat down with a heavy sigh. Half relief, half exhaustion. The bench creaked. Familiar and welcoming. 1,000 evenings. Maybe more. Summer fireflies. Spring honeysuckle. Crisp fall nights. Thomas's jacket over her shoulders. Even winter evenings. When they sat bundled up, watching stars. Eleanor closed her eyes. I miss you, she said. Not a sob. Not sadness. Just truth. I miss you. But I think I'm going to be okay. A small rustle. A gray and white cat appeared. Quiet. Confident. You again? She smiled. It hopped onto her lap. Settled in place. Purring immediately. A steady rumble. I thought I didn't know how to be alone, she said. But maybe I forgot. That alone doesn't mean lonely. The cat blinked slowly. Lantern light reflected in its eyes. Thomas wouldn't want me. Sitting in the dark. Pretending the garden doesn't exist. She laughed softly. He'd be annoyed I let the mint take over. The laugh felt real. Alive. I was so afraid of forgetting him that I forgot to keep living. Like every evening mattered. Like the small things were the point. She looked up at the sky. Stars scattered across it. Careless and beautiful. She thought of Thomas. In the garden. Teasing her. Sharing cookies. Holding her hand. Just because he wanted to. We had a good run, didn't we? She whispered. The cat purred. The lanterns glowed. And peace settled over her. Real peace. Not numbness. Not surrender. But remembering joy. Alongside grief. After a while, she lifted the cat gently. It stretched. Yawned. Hopped off the bench. She stood. Followed the cat back toward the house. The lanterns lit her way. Each one a promise. You are still here. You are still capable of this. At the porch steps, she turned back. The garden glowed softly. The persimmon tree, holding up the night sky. Thank you, she said. To the evening, the garden, Thomas, herself, all of it. She stepped inside. Warm light. Her favorite chair. A book waiting. She looked at the stars once more. One bright one seemed a wink. I see you too, she thought, and she closed the door. That night, she opened a wooden box. She took out Thomas's watch. It had stopped years ago. She kept it anyway. Tomorrow, she whispered, I'll plant something new. Maybe basil. Maybe sunflowers. You said they were floppy, but I liked them. She put the watch back. Gently, I'll keep lighting the lanterns. You were right. They help us remember, not the sad parts, the good parts. She climbed into bed, pulled up the quilt, closed her eyes. The quiet wasn't scary anymore. The quiet was full of memory, full of light, full of love that doesn't disappear. It only changes shape. She understood now. She wasn't living in the shadow of what she lost. She was living in the light of what she had. And that light was enough. Your garden is still there. Your lanterns are waiting. Quiet evenings are not endings. They are beginnings. You are still here, and that matters.